selling real one Chevy.
Hey everyone, welcome to I Just Watched. It's your boy Joseph, and we're talking Doctor Strange 2, aka Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. But before we jump into it, I gotta hit you with the usual, which is hopefully you liked enough this video to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified when all these get released. Initially, with the trailers and the way they were talking about the film, like I was definitely sold that this idea, the idea per se, that this movie was supposed to be a huge game changer. It would rock the current MCU as we know it, and moving forward, and the future of the multiverse, and all that crazy cool shit that was kind of being sold to me that this movie would provide. If I'm being honest, I was let down big time. This movie is not necessarily bad, but it's nothing special to me. It wasn't very good. It didn't really do any of those things. It's called the Multiverse of Madness, but we see them fall through a few different multiverses, but we only travel to two. Because that pocket dimension, can't fucking count that. The one where the Illuminati's at, and the one where they're calling them Sinister Strange is at. That's it. And there's not, okay, the Zombie Strange isn't even in this movie. That was bullshit as well. Like, that wasn't a Zombie Strange. That was him possessing his dead body. That's not a zombie. Because Zombie Strange is due to a virus, and it's an actual zombie thing. This was just him possessing his dead body through dream walking, and all this dream walking and nightmares, and all these references and stuff. I was let down too because there's no use of we see like no demons, we see no true crazy creatures. We get a shitty Shumagorath in the beginning. There's no way in hell that's Shumagorath. A bad reference to Shumagorath. They mentioned Chthon, because I mean that's the creator of the Darkhold, and we see 4 bodyguard Goliath troll monster demon looking things that do nothing. That's it. Like, I expected to see, okay, all this talk about nightmares and dream walking and all that. I expected to see nightmare, that one of the many Hell Lords. I expected to see Dreamwalker, a hero who operates through the dreams and despair, and other characters. Like, my biggest issue with this movie is like, okay, she did a great job as a villain. Scarlet Witch, Olsen, she did a great job as a villain. She was terrifying. She had some cool, crazy moments. Her version of that monster wasn't an issue. My issue is that they never really gave me a good Scarlet Witch. She never really, she in Age of Ultron, she's a villain until the very end when she comes out and destroys a few robots and rips Homeboy's heart out because she killed his brother. In Civil War, she accidentally murders innocents while trying to defeat a bad guy. So she's locked up. And then after that, she's back in jail. Pretty much. The whole situation gets broken out, and she doesn't do shit. She's just living her life with Vision and whatnot. In her show, she's a monster for part of it. Like, she has a bunch of people under her control, not letting anyone live actual life, basically captured. I don't know, like, she was never really a good guy, not truly, and that kind of sucks. She dead now. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen it. Oops. It doesn't mean they can't bring her back or do something with the character, but like, I know the Darkhold in the comics and stuff, it corrupts. It corrupts its reader. It's the person utilizing it. It corrupts you. I understand that. So I expected her to be maybe more vicious, more violent. However, like, there's plenty of actual demon or Hell Lords that exist in the Marvel comics that they can use for things like this. Like, going through the Darkhold corrupting you. Like, when we get to the Illuminati. Yay, Illuminati. I never liked the Illuminati in the books anyways. I thought it was just neat to see a proper Black Bolt. He fucking looked good, son. He looked real good. His suit was on fucking perfect. It was beautiful. Seeing Professor X in his fucking floaty chair, cool. It was dope. Seeing Krasinski, I think I said that right, might have not, as a fan service Mr. Fantastic was cool. Seeing Mama Rambeau as Miss Marvel, I was like, whatever. I mean, and then they made her suit like black and white, which I thought was shitty. Blech, I didn't like it. I thought it was stupid. Peggy Carter as Captain Britain, cool. I mean, I don't think they call her Captain Britain. Mordor, whatever his name is. Like, seeing the Illuminati, was cool. They didn't really do anything for me. Like, they literally just die. You know what I mean? Like, Reed Richard introduced perfectly, the smartest man alive, and then does the dumbest fucking thing ever. He can kill you with his voice if he speaks a word. If he uses it, like, if you want to stop us, make sure you don't let him use his mouth. Fuck, bro. Like, all right. And then still trying to shove that Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel is powerful as fuck. She had that whole I'm like, dude, y'all fucked up that character so bad. I don't give a damn anymore. Basura, get it out of here. Peggy being killed with her own shield, I thought was fucking hilarious. Her unraveling him like a box of spaghetti, I thought was fucking hilarious too. I feel like Black Bolt always gets killed because someone puts their hand or blocks his mouth. He speaks and like destroys himself. I feel like I've read that or seen that in comics like a whole life. So I was just like, yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to go any other way. I'm be honest. The one that out of all of them to me was the coolest was the fact that Professor X was in her head and trying to like help her out of the rubble and stuff. So I feel like when I saw that part of the movie, I was like, oh, there's huge missed opportunity because you could have dove in and then just put that Chthon had a Hell Lord via Nightmare in there controlling her the whole time, still killing Professor X, but maybe it bought them enough time just to give us that reveal. And then when we get to the fucking Book of Visanti, a powerful book of good magic. When they touched it, it should have launched them into her mind to help her free her, thus kicking Nightmare out of her head, and then her being like, I was under control, like, we get it, we know the answer now, help us stop this monster, and then having that confrontation against a proper villain, and, you know, go about it that way. I would have preferred. But no, they get to the Book of Visanti, they touch it, it does nothing, she burns it, it's dead, it did nothing. I was like, bro, it's the Book of Visanti, like, we're gonna pretend that that's not probably one of the most powerful relics in the magical world. Defender Strange looked cool initially. America Chavez, I mean, I like the fact that they committed to her punching stars to open portals into the multiverse. The fact that she's more capable in the comics, so the fact that they kind of nerfed her a little bit, and like, it's whatever. She was aight. She didn't really serve any proper purpose. At the end, she's getting trained to do magic. And like characters they brought on, like was it Rintar, the fucking bull, who in the comics at one point becomes Sorcerer Supreme. His purpose was like, oh, it's Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme. Like I was like, the fuck are you doing, bro? Although Wong is a Sorcerer Supreme by technicality, not because he earned it. I love Wong, but he didn't earn it. It's technicality. Everyone still goes to Strange like, hey yo, bro, what should we do? And Strange is still basically operating a Sorcerer Supreme just without the title. Feels like me at work. There was a lot of stuff in it that was just meh to me. Like Sam Raimi, great director and whatnot, but there was a lot of these movies. There's a lot of this movie where it just felt. It isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it just felt underwhelming because there was moments on, like, I remember I leaned over and I was like, bro, that is like 2000s as fuck. Like the way they use the music at a specific moment, or like the stupidity of them running from her in the tunnel and then stopping, and then just looking. I was like, why hasn't she smashed through that door yet? And then things slowing down and having this music rise, and then she comes out of nowhere, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Sam Raimi, you are much better than this, bro. Like, what are you doing? This is like the safest shit ever. You're not taking any chances. You're not trying to revitalize anything. Blah. You're like, I'm good at these 3 things, so I'm gonna do these 3 things. And that was it. I was like, bro, like, I expected more from you because of your talent level. I expected more from the way this movie was sold. I expected a proper multiverse of madness. Nothing. Like, it was just, like, it was whatever. Like, I don't know. I didn't really like it all that much. MCU, as of now, to me, for the most part, none of the movies have been, like, oh, shit, standout movies. Like, No Way Home, it's strictly nostalgia because of the classic villains and Spider-Mans. But we'll get into that. That's a whole conversation in its own video. This one, the idea was neat. I just feel like it wasn't properly executed because you give me the multiverse of madness that's supposed to be horror-esque and blah 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 blah, and none of that to me happened whatsoever. Rachel McAdams is a redhead, sexy. Shang-Chi, you know, it's its own video, but I thought it was okay. Eternals, I thought it was okay. Black Widow doesn't really count because it's a prequel, but at the same time, movie was okay, and then they fucked Taskmaster up horribly. What else am I missing? Is that it currently, I think? But not including the shows. I feel like the MCU is missing or needs that Avengers movie to kind of start tying up a few loose ends and kind of bring a bit of a unity to the franchise again, just a little bit, and then continue to branch out. Because right now we're branching out, but I feel like there's tiny subtle things connecting it, but not enough to be like, oh shit, yeah, like, you know, if that makes sense. 2 things before I forget was one, I gotta give him credit. Eric mentioned it. And I'm not sure. I mean, at first I thought it was just kind of a throwaway, but the Fantastic Four joke that Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, says when he meets or sees Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, about how like didn't you peak in the 70s or something like that? I'm probably getting the year wrong, but it got his wheels turning. He's like, so does that mean that in the MCU, which is not the 616 by the way, that is stupid as hell that they called themselves the 616, incorrect. They're probably gonna end up retconning that with some reference or something, or some kind of character or something's gonna be like, you're actually not the 616. You just think you are. The real 616 is this, and then the comic books or whatever. But is that just a throwaway joke about them peaking in the 60s or 70s? Or does it mean that the Fantastic Four, which the movie's confirmed and whatnot, will be taking place in the past? See what I'm saying? So he pointed that out. I thought it was actually like, once he said it, I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I see what you're saying. Like, you know, maybe it's not just some throwaway line. Why would he recognize them or even know about them at that point, in that sense? But I digress. So it's a whole other topic. But overall, Doctor Strange 2, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, let down for me. It's okay. It's not my favorite. The only thing that I think is neat is the fact that we see Clea at the end, the niece to Dormammu. Dormammu's her uncle. I'm interested because that eventually becomes his wife, Doctor Strange's wife, and all kinds of crazy stuff goes on there. We clearly go into the dark dimension, so we're gonna get more Dormammu. Cool. The third eye. Apparently, he opened the eye of Agamotto. I don't know. Some of the shit they decided to do makes no sense to me. Hopefully, it does long term. We'll have to see. Also, Incursions. Before I forget, Incursions. That's Secret Wars. And so, does that make Doctor Strange a Nexus character? Or, like, I don't know. I'm just, because I know we're supposed to get a Secret Wars show. So, is it going to tie in there? I don't know. I think we're missing some kind of bigger, grander piece to kind of bring it together for us as fans and people to be like, okay, I see what you're doing and where it could go. Down below, let me know what you thought of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. What do you think of the MCU currently and where it might be going? What are your theories? Comments, questions, concerns, requests down below. Love hearing from you. But until next time, stay safe, be well. Adios.